Hello one and all, welcome back to more Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. I have the next few trades. In the last part, we did some more investigatoring, and we've discovered some things, and now I think we basically have everything we generally need. We just need to, do our usual poking holes in all the testimonies, things, and sussing out the truth stuff, and we should be fine. I'm actually feeling relatively confident, all things considered. Also, suddenly, Maggie. Good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning, Maggie. How it be? I see none of us are concerned about, Gumshoe, I guess. I assume he's fine. So, what do you think's gonna happen today, sir? Yesterday's session didn't go so well and ended on a giant mystery. That is true. And we still haven't solved a single part of it yet. Well, that's what this part is for. Come on now, people. You okay, Nick? Yeah, of course. I'm always fine. I am a cucumber. I saw that little flash of doubt in your eyes. No, that wasn't doubt. That was, determination. Why don't I believe you? Because you don't believe in yourself. Huh? Yeah, think about that. It's nearly time, Maggie. You'd better get going to the defendant's seat. Roger. Don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you. I've yet to fail anybody at any point in my life at this point, so hey, pal! Okay, so Gumshoe is fine. Hey, Detective Gumshoe. Quit stressing Maggie out. She don't need that. How'd you know she was stressed? I was watching through the doorway. Oh. You look like you lost the case already. Show a bit of confidence, will you, pal? Here, maybe this'll help. Eh, have you taken up aromatherapy too? Not in a million years, pal. Don't tell me what you don't remember this thing. Come to think of it, that doesn't look like one of those aromatherapy bottles. No, it was the mysterious bottle we found. This is the small bottle that turned up in Trey Bien kitchen a couple days ago. Or do you not even vaguely remember that? Seriously, how do people not remember things that happened mere moments ago? It's so weird. Wow, look at all the little bottles. There's aromatherapy oils. It's got so many they're overflowing onto the floor. Oh, hang on a second. Hold up. This bottle don't look like nothing. What's up with that? There's one bottle that's different from all the others as I hit this button accidentally. Well, what do you know? Doesn't have a label either. And sniff, it doesn't smell. Maya knows. She sniffs everything she first picks up off the floor. We finally got the analysis results back from the lab. So, what is it? Is it the poison? I'm afraid not, pal. It's medication. Medication? Yeah, I guess it's the ear stuff. Yeah, for ears. Topical use only, apparently. For ears? You mean... Yeah, it's the medication Glenn Elg was using for his ruptured eardrum. What was Glenn Elg's ear medicine doing in the kitchen? Well, I don't know. It was... Maybe Armstrong swiped it? He tends to do that. What about the unidentified fingerprints? Anything on that? Someone screwed up, so they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. Another hour and they might have gotten something on the prints, but... That's gonna weaken the impact as a piece of evidence. But I mean, I guess it's something at least. Okay, pal, this is it. Make sure your defense is impregnable today, you got it? I give you absolutely no assurance. Today's trial. I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done, or my name isn't Phoenix Wright. Ace Attorney. Title drop. And these are my trials and tribulations. True title drop! Boom! Expertly done. Go me. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Bird. The defense is ready, Your Honor. I'm never ready for anything, but I'll say a bunch of flowery nonsense. Oh, wait, no, he actually is ready and waiting, as always, Your Honor. Huh, that's not normal for him. Very well, then we'll get we'll get underway at once. Yesterday, we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo, and that didn't go well. He claims to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. However, the witness's testimony was plagued with a number of problems. The mark on the rim of the cup shows that the victim drank from it with his right hand. But according to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left hand. Consume. Thank you, Mr. Godot. Furthermore, according to the witness's account, I can't open my eyes. Dear God, courtroom, I've gone blind. Open your eyes, Your Honor. It's a miracle! Sorry. The victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yet the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf in that ear. So what's up with that? It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, huh, Nick? Yada, yada, yada. Consume. Ah, my lame saxophone music is ringing through. Allow me to say some flowery pontifex. Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The world, you see, keeps turning, and we must turn with it. Yeah, you've lost me already, Mr. Godot. Could you maybe not? Don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You got to change with the times! That's one of my rules. Are you implying that you've resolved these contradictions? You know the answers to these riddles? The old guy just wasn't throwing seed in here. He was throwing us off the scent. Consume. And today, I'll prove it. I don't know why I say that when he does that. I can't think of any other word to cover up. I just have to say something as he makes the gulping noise to stop me from hearing it, and that's just the longest and best word I can think of. Very well, let the first witness take the stand. Who are we rolling with? Pork and beans. And you are? Oh, bonjour, everyone! Man, can I even do this right? I am John Armstrong, the owner and head chef of Tribulations restaurant. Enchanté! Nice pose. Thanks for that, game. Forgive me for asking, witness, but are you? Ooh la la, monsieur. As you can see, I am le pert and perky gentleman. Non. On the day of the incident, you were in Tribulations restaurant. Isn't that right? With you, monsieur. Question mark. Everything feels right. Haha, I'm uncomfortable. Consumption. Ha. Wow, he's totally unfazed. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy? I mean, Armstrong could probably elicit a lot of emotions, but I don't think intimidation would really ever be one of them. Granted, he did fight me, and that was really rude. Very well, your testimony, please, witness. Please tell the court what happened that day at Tribulations. Oui, volunteers. That didn't, my French accent is so bad, it doesn't even sound like a bad fake French accent. When it all happened, there was just 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with some new art decor that day. Like having a large mirror between the tables, for example. Okay, can we just hold on? Can we all hold on to our phones for a moment there? Hang on. I don't see nothing that looks like no dang mirror. If I'm being completely honest with you, but okay. Oui, perhaps that is what the old man was talking about. Or looking at. I don't fucking know. La cup, la earpiece, and the glasses, it would have seen everything in reverse, none? None! None, I say! I say thee none to the all nuns, and other such things. My goodness. Mirror? Oui, un grand mirror. La most enormous mirror. Oh, mirrors, magicians. And suddenly, the mystery disappears. Consumption. Like I said, the world keeps turning, so roll with it. Much like my silly headpiece. Huh, that would explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front. What the heck? It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. If in, I absolutely must. All right, what are we working with here? All right, when it all happened, there was just 2 customers in the restaurant. Talk about it! And who were the 2 customers exactly? Nice, of course. The young man who died, and the other not-so-young man. You are referring to yesterday's witness, I presume? What about the other man Maggie says she saw at the table? And what about the woman, who apparently is not the old man? Something tells me Mr. Armstrong isn't planning to disclose his existence. We need some hard evidence first before we can bring him up, don't we? And I guess I'll just have to try a different approach for the time being. All right. Okay, that's not really necessary, but can we talk about this? Hold it! How big of a mirror are we talking about here? Boof! Something about 4 meters wide and about 2 meters high? Yeah, see, here's the problem, I'm an American. I was never taught the metric system, so I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Let's see, if 1 meter is about 1 yard. Holy, glass in a frame, that's huge! Thank you, Phoenix. I was intending to install it on the ceiling, eventually. The ceiling? Is there a mirror on the ceiling? I don't remember. None, but I decided not to go through with it in the end. What should I do? Should I ask him more about the mirror or not? I mean, I don't see why not. Slam jam! If you really had such a large mirror in the restaurant, someone would have noticed it. But there's nothing about a mirror in Mr. Kudo or Maggie Bird's testimonies. But yeah, what if I don't care? You didn't ask, trite. You have only yourself to blame for such sloppy work. What? A mirror was delivered to Tribien the day before the incident. Really? As Mr. Armstrong testified, he was carrying out some design changes, and as it turned out, he didn't actually use the mirror in the end. This just doesn't add up. Even if a mirror was delivered to Tribien, it doesn't prove that it was in the restaurant on the day of the crime. If you want to doubt someone, trite, look in the mirror. There is no mirror, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure the person looking back at you will be dubious enough. So the witness yesterday had seen the victim reflected in a mirror, except I don't think that would actually make any sense, would it? Cup, earpiece, and glasses, you would have seen everything in reverse, none? Yeah, but that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense. The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we? If you don't mind. The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question. You can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. So, to summarize, we were told the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, if Mr. Kudo saw all that as a reflection in a mirror, it means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side. Exactement, you see, monsieur. Now that you think about it, is not so hard, non? Except, but hang on. Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. If Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror, why is it that the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head? Want to explain that little song and dance number? Order, order. Mr. Wright is correct. If the witness genuinely observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then we would expect the victim's eyepiece to have been over his right eye. Now what? Consumption! How bitter. Trite, you should have a taste of this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time. You seem like the person who's bitter here. Just throwing that out there. Are we talking about your coffee or something completely different? You don't understand the way the witness thinks. You mean illogically and kind of insanely? How he thinks? You remember this, I presume? The I broke the vase, sorry, apology that made Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony? Exactly. The old man has one very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it. And what's the most striking thing about Mr. Elg? Just how unstriking he is? Or I guess maybe the scouter. Clearly it's the victim's eyepiece. And that's my point. The old man strikes again. Mr. Elg's HMD made a big impression on the old man. Consume. At least he gets his theme playing again. I saw the earpiece and those newfangled spectacles he was wearing. Oh yes, they were both on his left ear. Do you hear? His left ear. Consume. Ha. Well, trite. That's the worst but best impression of Kudo ever? Wow, I really thought he was old seedy for a minute there. Godo's good. Godo. Enough. I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in much of his testimony. Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of a contradiction you found is just a rash. Where exactly did that analogy come from, Maya? A mirror can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So, what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court. We're all ears. Consumption! Oui, I can explain. Please, if you will look at the plans of le restaurant. Le restaurant del Magnifico. Oh, no, baguette. Sorry. Had to do it once. Hello. Is everyone sitting comfortably? Le mirror. It was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves. But that doesn't make any sense either. Oh my god. There is only one seat from which you could have seen an image of la victim. Indeed. But That was the seat at the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting. Yes. After the terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. Okay, except no. But naturally, I did not touch anything else. Except for all the things you probably touched. I see no problems with the explanation we have just heard. From the table next to the victims, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror. Yeah, except no. What a naughty little croquette. I am confusing all the men like this. Don't worry about it. Consume. We can keep up, except for the guy breaking out in a cold sweat over there again. Don't comment on my sweatiness. I hate that guy. You said you didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. Are you quite sure about that? Of course. I don't even know where to begin with saying that word. Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if and you please. If and I please, and I most certainly do. So pass the cheese. All right, so here's the problem. Okay, that's cool and everything. Indeed, right. Indeed, all right. True, that's true. If you were saying anything that made any sense about anything, that would make total sense, but you don't, and you're not, so you're dumb, and I don't like your lies! Objection! Could you maybe not lie to me? This piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we have heard, Your Honor. The crime photo? Check this out! Are you not seeing what I am seeing, people? Yes, this photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist. What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? I mean everything and nothing at the same time. Should not exist? Sounds like you're describing yourself, Trite. Or your hairstyle, whatever comes first. Seriously, you're like if Cyclops and Doc Brown fell in a Hydron Collider. Now then, if the defense would please clarify its statement. I'd be happy to. What is the something that should not exist in this photo? Remember, they kind of made a huge honkin' freaking deal over the fact that he knocked over his own dang vase? How could he have knocked over his dang vase and have it be back up without any problems, huh? I think it's pretty obvious that this is what should not be in the picture. The vase? What possible connection does that have with this witness's testimony? Your Honor, come on, dude, really? I'm telling you that there should have been no vase on this table. Because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. It's like the one and only thing that we can probably say for sure is something that he was telling the truth about, at the very bare minimum. He didn't just knock it over, he broke it! There's one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Well, I guess maybe 2 or 3. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court can see, there is an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at that table next to the victim at all. Objection. What? What kind of objection do you got here? Don't be an idiot, Trite. That's impossible. This seat's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from. Yeah, if he was telling the truth. Exactly. You're not supposed to agree with me. There's only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Très Bien that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie. Ooh la la, mon Dieu. I was really banking on him saying ooh la la. Oh well. I called it and I missed it. Don't try to confuse the court, Trite. Obviously, the witness cleaned up the vase while the police were taking the time to Well, the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene. Or maybe that's stupid. Unfortunately, Mr. Cadeau, that doesn't quite work for me or my spiky hair. Mr. Armstrong already testified in the contrary. It's in his own words. I did not touch anything else except the mirror. And I managed to avoid all the gulping. Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day. He was lying. In light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in an ear in which he couldn't hear? You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, Trite, then this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw? If I can answer this, then I'll be that much closer to the truth. I can feel it. Are you gonna be okay? Could you really solve this contradiction, Nick? There's more than just this one contradiction, Maya. What do you mean? Well, let me break it down for you. Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. So let's just say that his entire testimony is the truth. How's that possible? Well, let's find out. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up. Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer. Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. Mr. Kudo made a mistake, in which case this whole thing falls apart, and it was a bad idea, and I definitely shouldn't have brought any of that up. The ear doctor made a mistake, which is unlikely. Or I guess the victim was a phony. Let's go with that one, because the other two make no sense. This case is riddled with contradictions. Yet there is one very simple answer that clears them all up. And what is that? The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events. And the music got super dramatic just to enunciate that. What? That was much too of a shrill noise for what? That's better. Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Glenn Elg at all. It was an imposter, a phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. Man, I am grasping at straws, but you know what? It's probably the truth, and that's good enough for me. Nah. Consume. Ah! I do appreciate when it makes it look like he knows what's going on, but then he just freaks out. Order in the court. Settle down or I'll clear the courtroom. Quiet, Gramps. Why don't you clear out of here, huh? What did you say? Dude, he can easily get you thrown out and held in contempt of court. I wouldn't actually insult the judge. Trite. Are you saying that what Mr. Kudo saw was a setup? Yes. Thank you for spelling it out. Someone pretended to be Glenn Elg and acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo. Objection. No, he would object, wouldn't he? Get real, Trite. Why would anyone want to do that? Good question. Isn't it obvious? Everything is obvious if you think about it. Except, no, but whatever, you know what I mean. The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent upon in his testimony was the servant girl brought him a Javakino, but she put something in it. That's the servant girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. It's so hard to believe, but it's the only thing there is to believe, so you don't really get a choice in the matter. There was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee. Are you insinuating that the waitress in the old man's story was a fake as well? It's true that there were no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but... Ha-ta! It's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening. Indeed. That's right. Well, witness, if your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, that would be the real word, you would have known about it, correct? Ooh la la. Hey, he did say it. This is most difficult for me. It's not really much of an objection so much as it is, please actually just tell the truth. No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath, after all. Was there, in fact, a phony at Tribulations that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened. The defendant's request for additional testimony is accepted. Huzzah! You will accurately explain in detail the events in the restaurant that day. Gastrointestinal pains. Ooh la la. La victim, Monsieur Elg, came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after. There were no other customers. When he got word he won La Torre, Mon Elg became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. None. There was no time for a phony to do la acting or any such other thing. Uh-huh. But on that same front though, we got stuff about like about the times and stuff. Somewhere in here's a giant flyer. Yeah, there we go. Also, I have a sneeze. Excuse me. Most unprofessional. Just so we're clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant after all. Just want a man to madone, forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly. Well, don't do that. What you've just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. And we'll decide how to punish you later. For now, we will hear your cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if in you so please. You took that perjury charge a little bit too well. But I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. It's all about comparing all of the things that are happening to you. Okay, let's talk about it. Was he alone at his table as well? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Monsieur, I saw him from the kitchen.
Yet the defendant, Miss Bird, remembers it differently. She swears there was another man at the victim's table. Yeah, but what if I don't care? Unfortunately for you, Trite, yesterday's witness also testified that the victim was alone. Yeah, except we are also kind of going off the idea that the entire thing was a fabrication, but I guess I need to actually prove that it was first. You know, seeing you squirm like that reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite. What kind of coffee has he been drinking? Apparently the bad stuff. It's not coffee, it's love. It's love that's bittersweet. Hearing Maya say that makes her seem wise all of a sudden. And if you can make her feel wise, I just don't know. All right, the old man after him. There were no other customers. Do you think there's any way of being able to get time out of you? That'd be super handy. All right, by old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct?
Oui, he comes often for my special coffee.
I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience. It's funny, because it's technically a complete and total insult. Anyway, all right.
Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You are most welcome anytime.
I said it was worth one sip, and nothing more. And thus the insult continues to fly over his head. So old Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. Oh, hello, don't ask anything how many minutes after. What time was it? That would be helpful. That would be really helpful. Wait, but how many minutes after? I'm not sure which one of these things is actually... Now I can't even remember if he said the time before. Ah, nuts, okay. Maybe I can ask both. So you're saying that not much time elapsed between when the victim and Mr. Kudo arrived?
Oui, that is correct.
But that still leaves the possibility that something happened in that gap of time. And by your recollection, how much time would you say elapsed?
Let me see, approximately 2 minutes, I would say.
2 minutes? That's all? It seems unlikely that anything untoward could happen in such a short time, unless you had super speed. Rats. I knew I shouldn't have pursued this line of questioning. Well, then I just picked the wrong one, Phoenix. Hang on, back it up, back it up, back it up. We'll just ask a different one, don't worry, we got this. Okay, yep. Okay, what time was it? This is probably, I should have gone with this one in the first place. Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived?
Oh, no, I cannot remember, monsieur.
Oh, isn't that convenient? I believe we were told by a witness yesterday. The crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man, sir. Boom, boom. If it was reported at 2:25, then the question remains, Elg had to have been there way, way, way earlier, because the thing was at 1:30. And it's only a 10-minute show, and even if he freaked out for a while before he died, that just doesn't make sense. Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness?
The incident happened about 20 minutes after he arrived. So the victim must have arrived between 2 p.m. and 2:10.
Oh? Just after 2, huh?
Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful!
I can't sit here all the time and do nothing now, can I? The time of day will be added to the witness's testimony. Thank you!
Oui, monsieur judge. Everything I do it for you.
Merci bien. That's French, isn't it? Haha, I'm worldly. I'm glad at least one person is in a good mood. He's even humming a song to himself. The judge is a wonderful human being, and I will see no slander put up against him, okay? For all the crap I've gone through court, I gotta say, like the guy, he's amazing. Anyway, so that can't even be remotely feasible, so objection!
I'm afraid I've finally got you, Mr. Armstrong.
Qua? You qua? What do you mean?
At this time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announced the winning numbers of the $500,000 lottery ticket.
Oui, that must be the show Mom Elg was listening to. I can't see any problem with this testimony, Mr. Wright. Well, then maybe you should think.
I wonder.
Eh?
You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct?
Oui, I am sure of it. I remember it perfectly now. I know it was that time because I had just finished serving the lunch menu.
Get to the point, Trite, if you have one.
Oh, I got one. I'm slamming my desk. That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m. And it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. It's on the air at 1:30. Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. Ooh la la! And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time. The music of triumphant uproarial is upon us, people. Let it enter your ears and feel amazing as a result. I spit all over my dang monitor. This victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over. There's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. This victim was an imposter acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. What you gotta say about that, Cyclops? Yes, there were 2 Glen Elgs in Tribulations that day. The real Glen Elg, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer. Oh, that's right, there is one. And the phony Glen Elg, acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness. It certainly seems that way. Objection. Oh, I was expecting that. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how could you explain the time discrepancy? Objection? There it is. Okay, it was slightly light there. Quite a performance, Trite. You were almost on a roll. But don't get that butter yet, nerd. But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song. What is this? Music Theory 101? I thought your thing was coffee. Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it's now just after 2 p.m. The phony elk is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain, then, where the real Glen Elg is? I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court. However, at that time, the real Glen Elg was already dead. That's certainly the obvious conclusion. Like, seriously, I don't understand why he's having such a hard time grappling with this. Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say. What? Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours? Can you explain where the missing corpse went to? The missing corpse? Well, considering it's not missing and it got taken by a it got taken by the police and got put into a morgue and stuff, I don't think you can call it missing. They probably just stowed it. According to the old man's, oh right, nobody here, I forgot, nobody here understands that Armstrong totally got himself like coerced and blackmailed into having to do stuff for them. According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. If that customer was the phony Glen Elg, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim? I don't understand the reaction Phoenix had. The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to examination by the court, you must provide us with proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body? Yes, Your Honor. No conjecture, Trite. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden. A piece of evidence to do it? Why can't I just say, like,
I don't know, maybe they moved it to the kitchen or something. That's the only other room in the building. Couldn't have hidden it outside. What's with the intense pressure in here all of a sudden? Or at least 30 fathoms. I thought I had him with that contradiction. And you do, Phoenix. Then again, I don't really know evidence? But he turned it all around and backed me into a corner instead. Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was that body of the real Mr. L concealed? Okay, well, more than most likely inside. I feel like somebody would have noticed somebody moving a dead body around. The real world ain't like Weekend at Bernie's. It would have been too dangerous to take the body outside. And obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Tribulations. Interesting. But where could a body have been hidden inside a restaurant? Perhaps you would care to show the court in these plans, Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. Okay. The exact location where the body was concealed was the frickin' kitchen. No one else is allowed back there. It'd make the most sense. The body was hidden here. I see. Nice supposition. But the real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that proves the body was hidden in that location? Well, honestly, my brain told me, well, Armstrong probably just stole the dude's medication because he's got a weird kleptomania thing going, but I suppose an alternative idea would be his body got dragged over and, I don't know, it fell out? Is that where I'm supposed to be going with this? Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? None, you naughty man! I have never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. The highest quality, only for me. Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright? Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Tribulations. Yeah? Quoi? What? Non, yeah, what? But I only ever use these bottles for my aromatherapy oils. Yeah, well, that's because it's not what that is. This bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oils, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication. What kind of medication? Use your brainscape, Judge. I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elg visited an, oh boy, otolaryngological. You know what? No, we're not even gonna. Hang on, you know what? Okay, you know what? I'm doing this right now. I don't even care. Hang on. There we go. I'm typing it in. We're gonna get this right. Okay, I need to put in pronunciation. Oh, okay. Otolaryngology. Otolaryngology. Close enough. Clinic and was given medication that day. Man, that really would have bit my entire argument in the ass if I actually spent that much time in court trying to figure out how to say the word. You can't be serious. Serious as a heart attack or a poisoning, whatever comes first. The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results here. I have many papers. The contents of the bottle match the prescription that was given to Mr. Elg. Papa! That's right, you best go, Papa. Glenn Elg's murderer hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which time this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. So how about that? Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen? Mon Dieu. Yes, you know what I'm about to say. It was you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, Maggie Bird, however. You were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back. Because you're a bad boss. Order, order! This is an extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Mr. Glenn Elg? You'll note that I never actually said he did that. Never! I could not do such an horrible thing. Whoa. No! Mr. Godot? I thought that was actually Armstrong, so I was doing the French thing and I had to transition over to Godot. The bitterness. The bile. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules. How many rules do you have? And are you making them up as you go? Do you have the slightest idea how many cups you've had by now? then I like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I like to take them down with my empty cup. And what, do you bludgeon people with it? Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear? My age-deficient friend? Okay. Just fondament pardon. Please, you must hear me out. It is a trap. Listen to me. Por favor. Wait, por favor? Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor is Spanish. Did he just get so riled up he went into an entirely different accent? I'm only gonna ask you once. Did you do it? None! None, none, absolutely none! Let's hear it! You've got one shot, better make it count. Right, Gramps? Witness, the court will permit you the chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you. Okay, I feel like that's not actually something you should be able to give him permission to do, but as does my gavel. Okay, never mind, I guess we're all just threatening to physically assault him. It is clear. Why do they always say, what do they always say in the movies? I've got a bad feeling about this. Very well, begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong. We all be listening up in here. Les confessions. It is true. I hid the body in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. But I did not kill him. I swear it. You must believe me. Okay. You were forced? By who? I cannot say, or I will be erased. Let's try a different question then. When Mr. Elg died, was he really the only person at his table? There was another man. Boom. That's the line we're gonna need. I knew it! Maggie was telling the truth. May I cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright? There's just one more thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer. All right, okay, here we go. I think I know what I gotta do. All right, okay. But at the same time, let's press this first. I wanna press some stuff before I throw evidence around. What man? Who was he? No, I cannot say. I fear for my life. He's really scared. You'll just have to put the words in his mouth, Nick. Yeah, you're right. If you won't tell me, I'll tell him. But why would you go along with this man? All right. Well, just in case, I'm throwing this out here. Maybe I don't have to throw this in your face. And what reason would that be, Mr. Armstrong? You know, monsieur. Yes? Surely you cannot expect a young maiden to talk about such an embarrassment. A maiden? You're a bit old to get away with that. And a bit too male. Don't judge, Maya. We're not here to do that. I can't finish the cross-examination without establishing his reason. So I'll just have to prove it. With evidence. Very well. Small part of me was hoping I wouldn't have to, but there we go. Let's see, where is it? The owner of the one, there's a reason why I could not refuse. This should be it. Objection! Love it. You have $500,000 debt, don't you? $500,000? Is this true, Mr. Armstrong? Oui, just so that's all. I was weak, and I borrowed the money. Oh my God, he borrowed money. This is a big time thing. Whoa. This is Mr. Armstrong's Achilles heel. And that's why you couldn't refuse anything asked of you by this man. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Let's roll. A $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you. Oui, it is as you say. Mr. Armstrong! Le Tiger. He told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting the victim to demand that he repay his loan. Makes sense, actually. He's indebted to him, so it was a good place for committing another crime. Even if it didn't end up being like, you know,
Even if it didn't end up being murder, it would have still been, you know, the selling of, like, super viruses. I don't know why it happens like that. I just did what he told me to. I had no choice. I carried the body in the inconscient? Inconscient? Unconscious Maggie out of the dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I just tried to forget what I had seen. I think we can now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tigre. So what you gonna do about that? I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison in the lottery ticket that were found in the defendant's apron pocket, was that your doing as well? None! I knew nothing about that! Making it look like it was Maggie who had done it, I was not. It is despicable! Despicable! Mr. Godot! You will summon this Furio Tigre as our witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we will adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow. Or will they not? Hello. Consume. 30 minutes. What? The trial will go on. I will see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand. Not a minute more. How the? Don't sit back and relax yet, trite. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way. Very well. Your request is granted, Mr. Godot. We will resume once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess. Oh, and you best believe he's going on that jungle gym. To be continued. Sheesh, my goodness. My good golly Gorshin goodness. All right, well, we were able to end up getting him, like, involved and brought over here. I have no idea how Godot is going to actually manage to get him here, but it's, you know, it's progress. We'll take it. We'll take it, we'll accept it, and we'll appreciate it, even if he is a colossal jerkwad in the process. I mean, you gotta take what you can get. Anyway, in the next part, I dare say we're gonna put an end to this whole thing, and it should be pretty great. The ends of trials in these games are always so amazing. I'll see you then.